This video is going to discuss the topic of body rotation, especially how to move your body in the downswing and at impact. Do you want to be more open? Do you want to be less open? And how does that affect the ball flight? Ultimately, most amateur golfers struggle with this movement because they don't get the club face in the right position in order to be able to make the body rotation movement that they want to. Let me share with you how the pros do this and some drills that you can do that will help improve your body rotation in the downswing. So how much body rotation do you need? Well, the answer kind of depends, but there's a range within which we're looking to get. And it depends based on how you align this club face moving down into the downswing. The downswing really is a blend of some hands and wrists, some arms, and some body. And how you blend those really dictates how good a golfer you're going to be. But let me just put it to you like this. The more closed the club face is in the downswing, the more the wrists have turned the club face into a downward or stronger condition, the more body rotation that type of release pattern would suit. So the club face is into this strong condition in the downswing, and the golfer can utilize more body rotation to turn into impact, achieve this shaft lean look, compress the ball and hit the ball solidly. This is a look you'd associate with a lot of professional players, particularly players like Dustin Johnson with this flexed lead wrist. Colin Morikawa is another good one. As they come down into the downswing, their club face is in a really strong position and they're able to turn their body into impact. So the stronger the club face is organized, the more likely the golfer is to utilize more body rotation. And the opposite of that is also true. If your club face isn't quite as turned or closed in the downswing, meaning it's probably more open at this stage, you have to use more of the arms and the hands to start squaring this club face up in the final delivery part of the downswing. And in order to do that, you're going to need to slow down your body, use less body rotation. So how much you need really depends on your wrist conditions and your club face. But undoubtedly, I would say that better players generally have a bit more body rotation. And that's because better players typically control the club face better. Let me show you what that would look like using the HackMotion wrist sensor, and then share with you a couple of drills that you can do in order to improve your body rotation. So for the purpose of showing you exactly what the wrists do in order to control the club face, we'll use HackMotion during this part of the video. And I'll also be using this magnetic rod that sticks to the face of the club face. This tool is very useful for showing how the club face alignment changes throughout the swing and where the club face is projected at any point in time in the swing. I think it's a nice visual for you to associate with the club face and how the wrists affect the club face. So what I was saying to you was that in the downswing of the more expert players, typically we'll see the wrist, the lead wrist here, move towards flexion. Flexion is that twisting down of the wrist, the twisting of the shaft, and at the same time the twisting of the face, which, as you can see from this image, gets the club face into this slightly downward looking condition, pointing slightly down towards the ground. That golfer is now incentivized to use their body rotation to turn this alignment into the ball, make good contact, and from this front view, notice the shaft lean, which helps to reduce the dynamic loft. The 7-iron I have in my hands is now more powerful because I'm able to de-loft it. It also helps me to hit higher up on the club face, which is where the sweet spot is, get maximum compression and maximum ball speed. So this is why you tend to associate this look with better players and especially professional golfers. I also said to you that you can have the club face out of position in the downswing, which a lot of high handicap golfers do. Typically they'll have the face more open. You'll see how the stick now points to the sky. And on the HackMotion, you'll see how this lead wrist is now in extension, where I have this cupped condition. Now as I swing down towards the ball, if I retained this alignment and turned my body towards impact, you see where that club would be pointing. That's a completely non-functional club face. And that's why, if this is you, you'll see your picture at impact look a lot more like this golfer. No body rotation. You had to stall your body and allow the club face to catch up with the hands. Now, the squaring part of the club face is now in place. You've managed to square the club face to some degree so that you hit the ball reasonably straight. But you'll notice from this front view that the rod is pointing much more up into the sky, much higher. You're adding dynamic loft in an attempt to square the face, you have to. You now have the hands behind the ball, and you'll tend to get more fat shots and thin shots as a result. So very problematic delivery pattern, which a lot of high handicap golfers do struggle with, which really comes back to the point, although it's a blend of arms, hands, body, it's really about making sure the club face is in the right position to allow the body to respond. The body is really just responding to what it's allowed to do, and the club face dictates the majority of what this club can do and what the body will do as a result. So now that you see the difference there in the delivery pattern of different golfers, we need to practice in a way that allows us to enhance the body rotation and get the sequencing of these pieces much more together. Quick question for you. Did you know that 80% of your golf ball's direction comes from the club face angle at impact? And it's your wrists that control that angle. If you want to hit straighter shots and add more distance to your game, then check out the link in the description below. So there's two drills I like to do with this exercise in terms of helping players improve their body rotation. The first one is a simple drill you can do with an alignment stick. You really just want to extend the length of the club that you're currently holding by placing an alignment stick down the back of the grip, so that we lengthen this club. We artificially lengthen the club. And then from the front view, what you'll see is when I set up, the extended shaft, this orange stick that's coming out of the top of my golf club, is positioned just to the left side of my body. So this builds in that little bit of shaft lean that I want set up with all of my fairway clubs. So I've got the rod just to the side of my body. And I'd start out telling people to hit the ball whilst keeping the rod away from their body. So I need to turn my body through impact with my arms, with my wrists in place, in order to stop this stick and this club from smashing into the side of me. If I stall my body and flip my wrists, I'm going to get the feedback of hitting the side of my body. So that's not what we want. We want to start out small with this. I would suggest you do fairly small half swings to begin with. Hold the stick down the side of the back of the club. Just place your grip holding the stick in place. Small back swings, and then punching these balls out there, keeping the stick away from my side. Immediately you'll start to see that really starts to connect my arms and body together in a really nice way. This would be the start point for this exercise. I'd want everyone to try this to begin with slowly, to begin with without a ball even. You don't even need to hit a golf ball doing this. But as you progress, you would certainly want to introduce a ball. You see you get this little small punch draw shot, keeping the face closed and keeping the body turning through the ball with the arms and the club following. There's another one. Nice little punch shot, little push, draw. You're going to get that nice kind of ball flight that you'd expect to see with doing this exercise. Now that's obviously a half shot, but what I can do is progress from there with an additional piece to this drill, which is really one of my favorite exercises. And something I feature on my own channel many times in terms of a favorite training aid, or a training aid that I really like students to work with, is something between their arms. This is the Smart Ball training device that you can hang around your neck and hold this inflated ball between your forearms, helping to keep the elbow and arm structure in a good place. This training aid really does multiple things, but in terms of this particular video and the benefits that you'll get, when you're holding onto this ball, you have to keep the sequence and the synchronization of the arms and the body together. If I was to swing down and stall my body and just let my arms take over, I'd find my arms would have to bend, my wrists would have to break down, and I'd lose the ball. So not turning into the follow through will cause you to drop the ball. Equally, you'll get some benefits in terms of body and arm rotation in the backswing. You'll get some synchronization there that should really, really help you. So as you progress from the stick drill, where you're just punching those balls out slowly to begin with, the great thing about the ball between your arms is you can really progress this to a point where you hit fuller shots, and ultimately you could really hit full shots with this device. Keeping hold of the ball throughout the whole swing. I ended up just hitting that one a little more to the left than I wanted to, but you start to get a sense of how the arms and the body work together, up to the top, down to impact, squeezing the ball and turning my body into impact. Let's try another one. to get a sense of holding this ball. It can be quite awkward to begin with, but it's a really nice way to induce the right sort of body rotation that we're looking for. That one felt better, much more out the center of the club face. High, push draw. That ball's carried 150 yards, total of 165. This is a 7-iron. That's slightly lower than my standard distance, but it's really gives me a nice sense of connection that this ball, this training aid, helps me to do. So if I wanted to improve my body rotation, I need to incentivize my body to move in the correct way. Holding something between your arms can certainly help to do that. And if you're able to keep the ball between your arms, but you notice that your ball goes off in the wrong direction, then you know that there's work to be doing on your wrists. And that's really where the HackMotion wrist sensor comes into its own. You'll be able to see from the data whether we need to twist the face more down and close it into flexion, or if you even have the face too closed, whether you need to work on opening it slightly. But we don't really know how much of any of those pieces you need to do until you're able to sequence and synchronize your arms and body throughout the swing. So give both of those exercises a go. Start with the stick at the end of the club to get a sense of everything moving together. And then hold something between your arms next time you practice. Start out with wedges. Go slow to begin with. Start with wedge shots, half wedge shots, building up to full wedge shots, and then gradually move out towards fuller short, mid, and long iron swings. You can use this ball with any club in your bag to improve your body rotation and your sequencing. I hope you found the video useful. I certainly see this device and these drills help students on a daily basis. If you did want to learn more about HackMotion and how the wrists work throughout the swing, make sure you click the link that's in the description of this video, which will take you to further wrist training videos that I've made for HackMotion.